d4, knight f6, the opening moves of this mouth-watering clash between reigning world champions. Liren, the classical chess world champion, since Magnus refused to defend his title, and Magnus Carlsen, the Formula 1 world champion. Sorry, wrong script. Magnus Carlsen, the rapid and blitz world champion. This is Grenke chess. It's a round-robin format, over-the-board stuff, but a rapid time control. Clock times on the left. Let's dive in after Magnus goes c4. e6 from Ding. Knight f3, d5. We get captures, taking us into a Carlsbad pawn structure. Is it spelt with a K or a C? Nobody knows. And after knight c3, c6, Magnus goes bishop f4. And keep your eye on this absolute snake of a bad boy bishop. Bishop f5 from Ding. He completes connect 8 on the f-file. Unlocks dinner for 2 with Danny Wrench. Little known secret. What a lad. We get e3 from Magnus. Knight bd7 and knight h4. Magnus starts some tickle. Doesn't literally reach over and go for Ding's armpit. No, he's after the bishop. f3. It drops back and g4. Magnus sets up the bathtub. He loves this pawn formation and it just gets better. Watch this. Bishop e7, x-raying this unprotected knight. LPDOF, loose pieces drop off, so knight takes on g6, pawn recaptures towards the center, that's the rule of thumb, and after queen c2, look at the aggression here, knight f8, maneuvering to the promised land, Magnus goes queenside with the king, knight e6, a defensive stalwart of a steed, and bishop g3, keep your eye, it's on a journey, bishop d6, and Magnus gets aggressive. He could capture, sort of reduce the complexity of the game, but he drops all the way back to this back rank here, says hi to his brother, and watch where it's headed. Because after queen c7, attacking the pawn on h2, Magnus ignores it, goes king b1, an homage to Ben Feingold, and the pawn isn't actually taken. Because if you do, there's some bishop trap stuff going on. Now if f4 immediately to lock out the bishop, then knight takes on g4. So you push here first, hang on, can't this knight just capture? Well then f4, and you're picking up tempo on 2 minor pieces. Now there is this kooky line where black gets 4 pawns for the minor piece. What is going on here? Even if you're an absolute chess ninja, you don't have a clue. Even if you pretend to, well, white's got the bishops, but black's got a lovely clump of pawns. Who knows? So that position wasn't gone for. Castles queenside instead. Boo, we wanted to see opposite sides castling. But this is on the board, and h4 now from Magnus. He takes a bow, stands up. As he does this, it's an extended bathtub, very rarely seen at the highest level. King b8 from Ding. Now Magnus goes international man of mystery. The rook on h1. Watch this, rook g1. What is that all about? The mysterious rook move. Ding officially freaked out. a6 now to prepare c5, but not allow knight b5 and rook g2. Magnus revealing his point. He wanted to activate that one onto the second rank, but of course couldn't do it via the h2 square. Deep stuff. g5 now from Ding. h5 in response, and then c5. Why did he flick in these moves there? On the king side, well now the knight on f6 is stable, it can support d5 in the event of Magnus capturing on c5. Lots of paint on the board here because Magnus, just one traveller in a yellow wood, the roads diverging, which option does he go for? Does he take on c5, seen in the game, or go queen f5 or a3? Different pawn structures could arise. Well, he selects this one, bishop recaptures, excuse me, this pawn under fire, and if you go rook e2 to defend, well, d4 is coming very soon. So instead, Magnus goes knight a4 and the game explodes into life because he's ditching a pawn. Ding captures it, but queen b3 the follow-up, picking up a tempo on that bishop. Therefore d4. Has Magnus gone nuts? Look how powerful this pawn is. Well, rook c2 his point. How about that for a weird rook lift? The queen slides away and now Magnus picks up this bishop and plonks it on a5, and rumour has it he leant forward at this point and said the following to Ding. Because look at the journey that bishop went on to f4, g3, e1 and now a5. Love a manoeuvring bishop, and Ding doesn't save his rook. Why not play the most natural move? Well, you can take rook recaptures, and this is the follow-up. You go to smackdown, live in the pain, and that is the pin on the queen, because if captures, this drops, you're doing great. So no rook c8. Ding just goes queen d5, allows Magnus to win an exchange, but then takes on b3. Magnus with the double Bs now, rook recaptures, and knight c5 the follow-up. Yes, Magnus has the rook, but look at all the open files. There aren't many, only the C file, and this is a monster. It's like a bone stuck in the throat, right? Restricting the movements of the rook. Knight d5 now from Ding. Great move. Doesn't care to compromise the pawn structure. Activating immediately. Magnus goes bishop d3, a light squared grip versus a dark squared grip. Great strategic battle. Knight b4 hits two pieces, and so Magnus takes on e6. You take my rook, I take your rook. So f3 captures. Rook c5 from Magnus, keeping an eye on pawn e5. And now Ding apparently makes a blunder. The computer prefers, say, rook d6 or b6. But Ding goes rook d5, and the metal monster, the all-seeing silicon overlord, once takes on d5. Magnus maybe considered this, but it's so complicated because after pawn recaptures, which is best, because if knight recaptures, then there's bishop e4 and you're activating in different kinds of ways. Well, are we here? Well, then you've got a problem. Bishop f5, and you're opening the rook here, and say king c7, f4's the trick. If bishop takes, rook takes, and you start getting a few lines. If this one, then g5, but the lines are just nuts. You know, knight comes around to stop the pawn. You win a minor piece, but look how fast the black king marching in. You've got pawns running. Computer says white's a bit better, bringing in the king, but it's craziness. So Magnus doesn't take, doesn't go for any of it. He instead goes rook c4. Knight hit, defended, and Ding just goes into full lockdown mode. It's like the pandemic all over again. Bishop e4, rook d6, rook c5 and b6. Everything on lockdown. Rook c4 back, and now Ding goes for it with e5. Unlocks another side quest, a spa day for two with Danny Wrench this time. All his pieces and pawns and kings on dark squares. What a player. And Magnus is just fed up. He wanted the spa day, the facial, the pedicure, the nails, so he chops on b4, gets rid of that one, king c2, and he forces Ding to put a pawn on a light square. Because if you sit there too long, rook a1's coming, rook a8 could get a bit nasty. If this one ever drops, the h pawn's running. So Ding flicks in d3. Why is he sacrificing a pawn? Well, it's to get the rooks off, king recaptures, and we're in this opposite coloured bishop endgame. This has got draw written all over it. The kings move in. Doesn't really matter which way you go, various continuations. The point being, both players just locked down on the opposite coloured complex. Now we start seeing a dance of these bishops, and rumour has it that at this point, Both players just started playing to each other. You say it first. No, you say it first. They're playfully hitting. Come on, you say it first. Neither one would offer the draw, so the arbiter had to intervene, call it a draw. This is how it ended. Yes, not the result we wanted, but a fascinating clash, of course, between these two guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please do smash subscribe if you did. And for another epic game of chess, check out the video on screen, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.